Righto, I can start recording. Holy crap. That was,
A mission?
yes. Let's go with that, shall we?
Welcome to GCP Life, episode number 53, for the 17th of November, 2023. GCP Life is sponsored by Casna. At Casna, we make your Google Cloud solutions possible. And I'm your host, Stephen Bancroft. On today's show, Optus. We give you our thoughts. Is Australia a soft target for hackers? We look at the DP World hack, and we check out some new features from Google and VMWARE. But before we get to any of that, I'd like to introduce the co-host of the show, Ian Brown. How are you, Ian?
I'm good, Baggy. How you doing, mate?
Good, mate, good. We've avoided the technical obstacles.
Oh, mate, what a nightmare that was. All turned out to be a cable.
A cable, a not so old USB cable, but probably a cheap one, right?
No, well, it actually wasn't a cheap one. It's a Belkin USB cable. So it's a really good one that cost me like $40 odd, but it only lasts 6 months.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. So you're mucking around with pipe wire and audio interfaces and the whole shooting match.
I've spent the last 40 minutes trying to figure out why. I was blaming it on an update not that long ago. Like, you remember 10 minutes ago, I'm blaming it on an update going, oh, it's an update,
Yes.
Red Hat, you've screwed me. And no, it wasn't. It was a cable. I apologise, Red Hat. I love you still.
Would this cable have travelled to the most northern point of the continent with us?
No. This cable didn't. No, actually, the one I took to the most northern point of the continent is actually a cable I'm using right now.
Well, there you go. Well, this mic and this sound card and this cable and this laptop all went with me to the most northern point of the continent, and it's wearing scars from the corrugations as well.
Yeah.
Still works fine.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's the base on my stand has got some pretty good scratches in it. Yeah.
Top of this mic's all scuffed up. Must have been rubbing on something, but she works fine.
Yep.
Outside of that, what have you been up to?
Mate, not a huge amount. I mean, yeah, you and I both last weekend were working pretty much the entire weekend with the Uni Super cutover. Outside of that, I've been trying to stay away from tech as much as possible because I'm sitting behind a computer for 12 hours a day. I don't need any more.
Yeah, you got to get outside and do a bit.
Yeah, go and sit in the sun for a bit and sit in the pool and have a beer in the pool. Yeah,
speaking of pools, my new house has got a pool.
I did hear this.
The move is fully underway.
And 62,000 bedrooms, I heard.
62,000 bedrooms. You've got to have a Lego room. Everyone's got to have a Lego room, right?
100%. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Maybe I turn my office into a Lego room.
Yeah, do it.
Yep.
Do it. So, yeah, that's fully underway, and, things are looking good for that. Migration date is set for the 7th of December, so I'll actually be recording this year's last episode of the show at the new place, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, nice.
But just on Uni Super, we did do a big migration last weekend, and, the news is out there in the press, so probably they'd be happy for me to say that we've completed the largest wave of the migration, and it largely means that the production environment is largely completed, mostly completed.
Yeah, we've not got much left to go now. I think there was
the most complex and the largest, biggest piece.
Yeah,
wasn't
by
it?
a long way,
far.
like 190 odd machines or something that we migrated.
Yeah.
It was somewhere in the vicinity of 100 terabytes of data that went over. It was huge. It really was a massive migration. And, I mean, as there always is, there's a few teething issues here and there, but nothing...
Well, nothing too major, but during the actual migration work itself, it was pretty smooth, really.
Yeah.
In the past, we ran into a lot of hurdles when we were actually doing the work, doing the change, but this time we didn't, really.
Yeah.
It's just those teething issues, as you say, post-migration.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think, every IT environment has hiccups every now and then, and unfortunately, because we've migrated a large swath of production workloads over into GCVE, a lot of those a lot of those just standard issues that arise in an IT environment now get blamed on you guys migrated this, therefore it's the project's fault. And that's, look, some of it might be accurate, right? Some of it's probably not. From all reports, the migration went really well. Everything was working when we logged off on Sunday night to complete it after starting at, what did we start at 6 o'clock on Friday evening? Yep,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And worked
with the pre cutover stuff, and then we all sort of jumped on a bit later and started doing the bulk of the cutover.
Yeah, we've only got 3 more migrations left.
Right? Yeah, and they're minuscule compared to what we've done. They're just some of the smaller sort of the DMZ areas of their infra, but largely done. I dare say there's been press releases up to this point, so I dare say our press release is going to come out around this. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yeah.
But this is the thing I was going to say. A migration like this, doesn't matter what technology you're using, what platform you're going to or from, it's going to expose stuff. It's going to expose problems in your network.
Oh, yeah.
Silly misconfigurations, crazy things that are done for who knows why.
Yeah. Well, it's the same as every environment. Every environment has a little bit of agricultural growth where people have just like, I don't have time to fix this properly, so we'll just throw in a rule here to allow it and we'll come back to it. And we all know that once you've put that rule in and it's working, you don't touch it ever again.
It's gone. Yep. Cat's out of the bag.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll keep you up to date on that and let you know. We should be finished by the end of the month, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've got 3 migrations, and they're all midweek migrations that start at like 8 o'clock at night and go through to the early hours in the morning.
And that's it. We'll be done. And I mean, I've been on this project for 18 months. Started with our former co-host Dave.
Yep.
And then you've joined the party. I don't know what I'll be doing after this. It's kind of like, I'm suddenly a free agent.
Take a week off and relax. And
I definitely will be taking some time off, especially with the move and everything.
Yeah.
But what about that Optus?
Oh, Optus. I don't know that the viewers need to hear too much more about this. I mean, everybody was screaming their name on Wednesday.
Everyone was screaming their name on Wednesday. Look, it's not nice to kick them when they're down. And look, the reality of it is, it could have been anyone's business. It could have been any telco that this happened to. It just happened to be, Australia's second largest one, and it affected 10 million odd people. So,
yeah. And look, to put this in perspective, Telstra had one not that many years ago, where one of their engineers made a routing change or something in their core network, and it just bricked the entire network, and it took them 6 or 7 hours to get it back up.
Yep. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
So we were speculating at the time, based on random dudes on the internet, that it may have been a BGP issue, because you saw in Cloudflare a bunch of BGP advertisements just shoot up around 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And given the time, we were also speculating, that's kind of the time you do a change to core infrastructure. And sure enough, we'll link an article in the show notes. Sydney Morning Herald, I was quite surprised with the articles. Rather techie, they go into it. Our speculative hypotheses were more or less correct. What's happened is Optus have done a router upgrade. We assume it's related to BGP because there's been many BGP CVEs that have come out lately. And that's either deleted, changed, or they have not installed BGP route filters. And ironically, Singtel, who owns Optus,
it's their sister company or their parent company,
flooded their BGP edge routers with all their prefixes.
Yep.
And I've had this happen before, similar sort of thing, but with spanning tree, where there's just so much spanning tree traffic that the router just can't cope, and you can't log on to the CLI. I mean, they were probably dead in the air anyway. They didn't have any routing to it. And even if you do go on the CLI, it doesn't respond. You can't put commands into it. So as a result of that, they've actually had to go on site and reboot all the routers to get them back on the air.
Yeah, it's pretty big. So, and I saw it too. I sent you that Cloudflare link. We were looking at the BGP advertisements that were coming into Optus, and you see it's like 1,240 or something advertisements, and then all of a sudden it spiked to 900,000. It's like, whoa!
Boom, man. What is that?
Like 1,200 is a lot.
And then nothing. And then the traffic profile's nothing after that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. The traffic profile just disappeared.
So, look, I feel for the engineers who are on it. If anyone, we have a pretty small listenership, but I send my my feels. I send the good feels out to those guys because they would have been sweating it. And I mean, both you and I have been in situations like that before. And look, clearly, not as big as that, I admit, but we've been in some pretty big outages. And yeah, look, those guys work their guts out trying to find these problems.
Yeah, 100%.
Many hours, and it's late and long. Yeah,
yeah. I think I said it on the day that those guys are going to be working their butts out to try and find this problem, let alone trying to fix it. I mean, when you've got a network as big and complex as Optus or Telstra's or any of the big telcos, finding that needle in a haystack is 3/4 of the battle. The fixing it is generally the easier part.
Yeah, it's the identification of it. Absolutely. Yeah, and you can't log onto your routers. Like, it makes it even worse.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you can't actually physically get into them, then you're sort of flying blind.
Yeah. But as inconvenient it was, they fixed it in the long run and solved it. And you can bet they'll put in some plans to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, well, there was an article there that said that they have put in safeguards now to prevent this from happening again. So, look, I wish them the best of luck.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's get on with the show, eh?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first item off the rank today is some items around training and certs. I just mention here that I'm sitting my research for the developer professional. That'll be on the 1st of December.
Nice.
This time I'm using Cloud Skills Boost. I've gone through most of the courseware on there. I've gone back and revisited a Cloud Guru a little bit. I'll probably do a little bit more of that over the next coming week and a bit. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty prepared for it at the moment. I've not done the sample questions. I tend to leave that till I get a little bit closer to it because I want to test my knowledge. And then when I do it, I'll do it 3, 4, 5 times because I really want to make sure those questions are like ingrained into me.
Yeah.
That's another one of my little strategies. I'm thinking of writing a blog about this. I might have to do that.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
Yeah, so I'll report back and let you know how that goes. But while we're on the subject, and the first item we want to talk about, Google Cloud has introduced some new skills badges. And so now we have skills badges and certifications.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. So, and for those who don't know the difference between the two, a skill badge is earned by completing hands-on labs and taking an assessment inside of like Cloud Skills Boost, whereas a certification is a validation of the individual knowledge and a deep understanding of the technology, and it's done by passing an actual certification exam, which is
2 hours through.
Proctored. Yeah, it's a lot more involved, but the badges are still pretty cool. I noticed here
sort of gamifies it a little bit too.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it's sort of like, oh, you've unlocked this badge.
Upgrade.
Yeah, so they've got in the badges cover. I think they've got 80. I think I saw in this article.
80 plus skill badges, and the article says they've introduced 3, but I couldn't sort of work out what the 3 were.
No, I couldn't either. I was looking at it going, are we going to say what the 3 are? But sure.
Yeah.
But this all comes from a study that Google embarked on with research firm Gallup, and the focus was to explore the impact of Google Cloud skill badges. And from it, it was reported that badge holders reported they felt better equipped with a variety of skills gained from their attainment of skill badges. They reported an increase in confidence, and were able to leverage the badges for further learning goals, such as achieving a Google Cloud certification. So now there's 80 plus skill badges available through Cloud Skills Boost.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I've got quite a few of them, and it is quite fun ticking one off and getting a little email that comes in and says, you've completed a course, now you've got the skill badge, and then it comes up, oh, great, it's good, you know?
Yeah, I've got a whole heap of them on my GDev profile. There's heaps and heaps and heaps of them there.
And while we're on the subject of AI, just take a look at the photo in that article. I'm looking at it going, it looks like an AI-generated image to me.
It does, doesn't it?
And then I'm going, is it? Is it? And then I looked and I looked and I looked. See the girl in the middle with the afro?
Yep.
Right? Look at her legs.
Hang on.
That's the giveaway. That's an AI-generated image right there.
And the girl beside her doesn't have legs.
No.
Okay. She's got 3 legs and the girl beside her has no legs.
Yeah. And her shoes are all different and their pants are different lengths and it's just all screwy.
Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah. I didn't notice that.
That's cool. I only noticed it because I suspected this was an AI-generated image, so I went looking for hands and then things like legs, and there you go.
Yeah, right.
So I'll link this article in the show notes. You'll see it right there. Look right in the dead center of the image. The girl with the afro, she's got the legs look really odd under the table.
She's got 3 legs.
And there it is. AI art starting to make an impact, right? It's happening. It's happening. All right, let's move on. GKE Enterprise. Now, this is right in your wheelhouse, mate. What's GKE Enterprise got for us?
So Google has released an enterprise version of GKE. So it's now generally available. And the enterprise version just adds a whole heap of premium features on top of GKE that aren't otherwise available. So you won't see other providers with this. This is purely a Google thing. So the enterprise edition includes fleet team management that lets platform engineers easily group similar workloads into dedicated clusters and apply custom configs and policy guardrails per fleet. It allows them to isolate sensitive workloads and delegate cluster management to other specific teams. And teams can run and manage their workloads as well as view logs, resource utilization, error rates, and other metrics. And then on top of that, that's all really cool, and it does a whole heap for big enterprise that are trying to manage lots and lots and lots of GKE workloads. But they've also released in GA the Advanced Vulnerability Insights. So for those who don't know, the Vulnerability Insights is the inline scanning of containers that are running inside of GKE and the software that's running on them for vulnerabilities. So it gives you this really, really cool dashboard. It can do scanning and vulnerability detection in Java, Go, JavaScript, and Python, as well as detecting vulnerabilities in open source softwares. And then lastly, it also comes with managed governance and policy controls and a managed service mesh. So it's sort of Anthos built into GKE. Even though normally you'd sort of deploy Anthos and that would deploy GKE, this is sort of like an all-in-one, wrapped up, nicely bundled service. So it gives you all the best bits of GKE with a whole heap of enterprise features and is really an ideal solution for enterprise customers to take up.
I'm just reading here. Enable GKE Enterprise Edition capabilities and sign up for a no-charge trial on November 15 when it becomes generally available.
That's right. So November 15, incidentally, was yesterday or today if you're in the US.
In the US, yep.
So one of the other things here that they quote in the article is GKE Enterprise is already producing amazing results, with some customers improving their productivity by 45% while reducing software deployment times by over 70%. And they've got a little reference to that down the bottom of the article and where they get that information from. So there you go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So what sort of things, in order to achieve that productivity by 45%, and software deployment times by over 70%, what's GKE Enterprise changing for them in terms of tooling and process to enable that to happen?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. So the source of that quote.
Well, GKE in general.
Oh, GKE in general.
Just for our listeners, what benefits are you going to get?
So GKE. So you've got to think of the normal software deployment lifecycle where software developers, they build on their local machine, they commit changes into a Git repo or a Subversion repo or a Mercurial repo if you're from the 1980s, and actually Mercurial's not that old.
Hey, I've used check in and check out, okay? So don't you start.
Look, I like them all, to be honest. I started out on Subversion, so. But yeah, look, they'll commit that, and then some server will do a build, and then it'll be handed over to QAs, and it'll get tested and all that, and then someone will manually jump into a machine and deploy that software package. The pipeline differs quite considerably when you're talking about GKE because you build. Your developer still checks in their code into Git. There's a pipeline that automatically runs, it does all its tests, and then builds it, and then automatically deploys it to GKE for testing. So there's no sort of middleman in there to stick their fingers onto the server, and you're not treating your servers like pets anymore. They're literally cattle. They just you deploy them when you don't need them anymore. You get rid of them.
Right.
So
and the containers just move to working servers.
That's right. And the other part of this is when you're developing as a in Docker or in a container, the results that you get on your local machine in that container should be identical, assuming that you've got everything configured the same, should be identical as to what you see in production because it is the same container.
Works on my machine.
Yep. Yeah, it removes that whole, but it worked on my machine.
Works on my machine.
I may have been guilty of saying that once before.
Works on my machine. Awesome stuff. I still got my bare metal GKE cluster in a box at the new house, so I've got to crack that out and get started on that.
Nice.
But moving on, VMware and Google announced planned PostgreSQL compatible database solution for traditional and generative AI applications on VMware Cloud Foundation. Well, that's a mouthful.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. So what you can get now is you can get AlloyDB Omni on VMware.
Yeah. How cool is that? So Postgres compatible. Admittedly, last time I used AlloyDB, which was a little while ago, it wasn't 100% Postgres compatible, but it's for the most part it's there. There's a few little idiosyncratic things that that aren't quite there, but look, it's
some of the plugins or the stored procedures or something.
I think it's something
that weren't quite compatible. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
but it gives you the superior performance and scalability. It gives you the enterprise class infrastructure, a developer friendly user experience, because most of the developers that are using Postgres, they just know it inside out. So this is no different. But it also gives you the benefit of Google powered AI.
Yeah,
and they've got a wee list down the bottom of the article, which we all like a wee list. We do, and it literally covers those 5 points. So.
Yeah, that's right. And it will provide administrators with a vSphere native experience for managing AlloyDB.
That's right.
On VMware Cloud. So, you know your VMwares already. You want to do a bit of AI data, then this is the way to go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And AlloyDB is lightning quick. So the quote that they've got here is AlloyDB Omni is more than 2 times faster than standard Postgres for transactional workloads and delivers up to 100 times faster analytical queries than standard Postgres.
100 times.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's
wow.
And they've got the little number there to the citation there.
Oh yeah. citing the study for that or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. So that's based on internal Google Cloud testing from March 2023.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, it looks like a really cool product. I'll have to give it a try one day. Oh, when you get your cluster up, we'll give it a try.
Yes, when we get that up. I wonder how it works. Like, do you click something and just spin up a node, like inside the vSphere thing? Like, is that how it works?
So, VMware Data Services Manager does the, from what I read here, does the deployment. Yeah, it simplifies the management of data services and will have workflows that integrate with Alloy DDB Omni to automate data patching, backup, scaling, and replication with minimal training for customer personnel.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's done with VMware Data Services Manager. So this is a Data Services Manager. This is a new component of VMware then, is it?
Yeah, it must be. I haven't ever heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it just deploys another appliance like your IX appliances or whatever, and bang, it gives you a Postgres, it gives you an IP, and bang, there's your Postgres interface.
That's it. Yeah, and I'm just looking up the Data Services Manager now. Empower IT to manage databases running on vSphere consistently and securely to deliver the self-service access to databases that developers require for rapid innovation. Also quite a mouthful.
You're supposed to breathe when you read sentences, you know?
Yeah. It didn't look that long.
All right, then. Let's get on to something a little more serious. As awesome as those two things were, we've had a pretty major security incident. I think what's turning out to be a pretty major security incident. DP World hacked. One of the handful of stevedore companies in the country. Took them offline for a few days. Yeah,
it did. So they restricted their access to Australian port operations in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Fremantle while they investigated the issue. They came back, the article, so this was an IT news article from a few days ago. A day or so later, they came back and said, they'll be back online as early as a couple of days' time. And then I read an article, I think it was yesterday morning, to say that they are back online. So a really, really quick turnaround.
Quick turnaround. Now, I found another article that actually goes into a little bit. It's a Fin Review article, goes into a little bit about what actually happened. Turns out it was a result of, guess what? Unpatched infrastructure.
That's not unusual.
And Russian hackers had been in there for a while, and they actually pulled the plug themselves. DP World pulled the internet plug themselves and took themselves offline once they knew that they'd been compromised.
Right. Yeah, well, that's fairly, that's fairly telling, really, of the whole patching schedule.
It is. Just patch your shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Like, just especially stuff that's public facing, right? Those, LAMP stacks, Reacts, whatever you're using, have that all patched and updated, right?
Yeah, that's it. I read another article, I think it might have been this morning, I was reading it about ASD's putting out a thing on how important it is to actually patch, and the government is looking at creating like a safe harbour, I think they called it.
Yes, that's right. I had a link for that. That's right, that safe harbour. Because the problem is companies like this, they don't want to give up their information.
No.
Because they're worried that will come back and be used in some sort of class action or regulatory, issues. Yep. They don't want them in there.
So what they're looking at is the government's looking at a safe harbour that gives the company the ability to engage with ASD, so the Australian Signals Directorate, the spooks and spies from Australia, and to get in and really diagnose how these hackers have got in and how to fix it and all that sort of stuff, which I think can only be a good thing.
That's right. But the companies need to know that that's confidential.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Right? The same way you go to a lawyer for legal help and anything you say to him is absolutely confidential. It needs to be the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, we'll be following that one. I don't know how much more information we're going to get on that, but like it's as simple as just patching stuff. If they'd made a migration to cloud and they were using IAM and they had everything blocked up behind then it's pretty certain that something like this is not going to happen.
That's right.
If you've done it the right way. But even Google Calendar isn't safe from hacks.
Yeah, that's right. So I found this article the other day. So hackers have reportedly found a way to use Google Calendar as a command and control infrastructure, which could create quite a few headaches in the cybersecurity industry.
They'll do anything. This is ridiculous.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? So, because normally when you're searching for command and control, you're looking for machines that are talking to other compromised servers and all that. But these aren't. These command and control servers are talking directly to Google Calendar via the API. I'm assuming. It doesn't go into details on how they've managed to hack Google Calendar. They've done a POC. It's dubbed the Google Calendar Rat, or GCR, an unfortunate name that also correlates with Google Container Repository. And according to the person that built it, aliased as Mr. Signal, anyway, the script will create a covert channel by exploiting the event descriptions in the calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean, though?
Well, event descriptions are exactly that. That's the description you put into an event. So there must be some vulnerability in the way that is entered. Some, like, it's not escaped correctly, or there's some way of doing something nasty in there.
Similar to a SQL injection.
Yeah, similar to a SQL injection, cross-site scripting type thing.
Yep.
Now, the article does say, so far, no hackers have been observed abusing GCR in the wild. But we all know, as with all things like this, that is only a matter of time.
Yep. Yeah, well, at least we know about it. At least it gives Google an opportunity to look at it and fix the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I guess the tip is at the moment, be very cautious of suspicious calendar invites and requests from unknown people that are going to set, create entries or invite you to meetings in any calendar app at the moment. Until we know that there's been a fix applied for this. Be hyper vigilant.
That's it.
And then moving on with security news, we have a list.
We do. We love lists.
We love lists on this show. So this is a list from Daily Host News. Google Cloud Cybersecurity Forecast reveals 15 trends you can expect in 2024. They're saying there's a notable shift with the incorporation of generative AI and LLMs to advanced phishing techniques. That's one thing they call out specifically in the body of the article. But the list itself goes through quite a few items here. What are we going to see in 2024? This is almost a prediction episode.
It is. It is. It's the crystal ball.
It's the crystal ball episode.
There we go. We've got a name for the episode now.
The crystal ball. Thanks for that. We're going to see increased zero-day vulnerability exploitation. Well, I mean, we know there's 0 days out there that we don't know about, that the powers that be know about, and they're probably using them anyway.
Yeah, that's right. They say here Google predicts a surge in zero-day exploits by both nation-state attackers and cyber criminal groups. So, I mean, there's the 0 days that they're always out there. It's just they haven't been found yet, for the most part.
Well, they haven't been found by the people that tell you about them.
That's right.
They have been found. They're just being used nefariously.
Yeah.
Right? Cyber activity targeting US elections. Interesting one.
Yeah. Not at all unexpected.
No, but we'll see what the wash-up is there. Rise of disruptive hacktivism.
Anonymous, anyone?
Anonymous, yeah. Wipers in nation-state cyber arsenal. So I think when we talk about wipers, a wiper malware is something that goes in and just deletes data.
Yeah, it just removes all the data. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to see more of that. Probably download it first, then delete it, right?
Yeah.
Now, this next one's interesting. Targeting space-based infrastructure.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of those satellites that are up in space at the moment have been there for a long time.
Yeah, right. And they'll have old code on them.
So you've only got to find a way in.
Yep. And they're transmitting radios. They've got radios on them. That could be an attack vector there.
Yep.
Matured attacks on hybrid and multi-cloud environments. Right, so I guess this dovetails into the whole BGP thing, right? We've seen a lot of BGP CVEs. This is why the likes of Optus needs to do a lot of patches, and all telcos need to do patches because that's a way in, right? So you've got these shared infrastructure environments, TPN, Telstra private networking. That's one.
Yep.
You've got what's the other big one?
Megaport.
Thank you. Surely there are attack vectors in there, right?
Yeah, there'd have to be.
Yeah. Increased use of serverless servers by threat actors. Yeah, script kiddies just run a function.
Got to run some JavaScript.
Yep. Hack a Google Cloud account, get some free compute, run your functions. That's it.
Or just sign up for a brand new account and get $300 of credits.
You got to give a credit card. Oh, you give a fake credit card, don't you? Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, not that we're condoning that or giving you any tips on how to exploit this.
No, not at all.
I'm sure that's what they do. Continued growth of extortion operations. I mean, that's pretty sad that people feel they need to do that. But espionage and sleeper botnets.
Well, that's that whole DP world where you've had hackers in there for a period of time.
Yeah, and they're just running all the things on their botnet. Revival of ancient techniques coming in at number 10.
Ah, the karate.
So, threat actors may resurrect ancient techniques that receive less coverage.
Yeah, the old call in and fish someone type attack. Yeah. Remember the
ring them on the telephone.
Old phone freaking. I don't think that works anymore, but
no.
I think telcos have woken up to that.
Smurf attacks. Yeah, anything.
There's a whole heap of really old ones that I remember from I remember trying to phone freak the old payphones, the old Telstra payphones years ago.
Oh yeah. Well, they're free now, so you don't even need to do that.
Yeah, that's right. They're not payphones anymore. Public phones again.
Public phones, yeah. Shift to modern programming languages by malware authors like Go, Rust, and Swift for rapid development. Oh, you can see it. A malware author there with their full CI/CD pipeline, publishing containers, and automating.
But I mean, if you're going to do something, like if you're going to be building malware, then really, if you've got to write it in as lower level language as you possibly can, because it's got to be as small as possible, as undetectable as possible. So things like Go and Rust and Swift and C and C++ are other languages of choice because they compile down to machine code.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah. Yep. Very hard to detect and very, very small.
And you could compile for different target architectures as well. Right, that's becoming more and more important, as we've seen. Targeting developers in supply chain attacks. Well, we've seen a lot of this going on.
Yes, we have.
Growing mobile cybercrime.
Well, that's fairly prevalent these days. Like the amount of text messages that I've got in the last couple of days, just sort of like, oh, here's your package has been held up. Click this link. No, that's not the way this works. That's on the rise. It has to be.
Yeah, and spam calls.
Yeah,
right. Overseas scam centers.
There was one I was reading about the other week where some scammer rings you and they start asking you questions and they want you to say yes and no. And it's something like they'll ring you and say, "Can you hear me?" And most people, of course, go yes, and then they use that yes to sign you up to things. So,
well, they copy your voice.
They're recording it. They're recording the call, and they just chop it out, and off you go.
Wow. Steady cyber insurance premiums. So this is an interesting one. Despite all of this, they reckon that cyber insurance premiums will just stay steady at the same rate.
Yep.
Probably because more people are having to sign up to it, so they don't really need to put it up.
No.
Consolidation. Although that's an odd one, right? Because you lose your data, right? You can have all the insurance in the world, but you lose your data, it's not coming back.
No, that's right.
All the insurance.
The idea of the cyber insurance premium is more to cover you so that you can get yourself back online. Because most cyber insurance premiums will have clauses in there that say that you've got to have offline backups, and you've got to there's a whole heap of stipulations there that you have to abide by.
Yep. I guess that helps you in a way, right?
Yeah, of course it does.
Helps you put your plan in place, To be compliant with our insurance, we need to have A, B, and C. You've got to have the checks and balances.
And at the end of the day, you should always have offline, offsite backups.
Yep.
Of everything.
Yep. With or without this, you should have it.
Yep.
And finally, number 15, consolidation around SecOps, security operations.
Yeah.
Well, we're starting to see that.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot these days, especially with Darren Goldie being appointed as the cybersecurity head, and the country's really starting to sort of evolve that cybersecurity capability, and that appears to be happening around the world.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get at in the intro. I think up to now, and we've touched on this before, Australia's been a soft target.
Oh yeah,
really. I mean, and this is why we've seen this sudden balloon in cyber incidents, is because not only globally there's an increase in cyber activity, but it's like, Australia's easy. They don't, their stevedores don't patch their front end systems. Let's just go after them.
Yep. Yeah, it's it. Look, and we're not the only ones. There's plenty of countries out there that are soft targets, I'm sure. It's just that, we've got a fairly good economy and we're a soft target.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, on that bombshell, let's move on with the AI wars. So did you hear that the Cambridge Dictionary of the Word of the Year is hallucinate?
No, I didn't.
What the? It's based on, it's based on all the AI and the fact that AI is hallucinate and can tell you garbage.
Yeah, okay, no, that's fair. That's fair.
I thought that little tidbit there would be good to kick off the AI wars. But Google, Amazon and Microsoft pour $43 billion into cloud computing.
Oh, it's crazy. Crazy.
More money being spent. Crazy. Capital spending by Google, Amazon and Microsoft jumped to a combined $42 billion. More billionaires are better.
Yeah, that's it.
For the 3 months up to September. For the 3 months up to September.
Yeah.
Right? That figure marks a 10% increase from the prior quarter, with analysts projecting cloud-related spending to increase further in 2024. My nephew's just finished school, and he got top marks in ICT. He just blitzed the rest of the school, right? He's right into Python programming, obviously loves his gaming. And I said, mate, got to get into cloud computing. So I've pointed him in the direction of doing a few, just so to clue him up on what the Google Cloud certs are all about, showed him what the Google Cloud console was, and started to introduce him a little bit to it. So I'm going to have regular meetings with him. But this says it. When you read figures like that,
yeah, and
the spending is increasing in 2024, I said to him, mate, this is where you got to be. You got to be in cloud. If you want to get in the big guns, AI is where it's data and AI. That's where it's going to be.
That is exactly where it's at.
Yep.
Yeah. So interesting. This article points out So Sundar Pichai, who's obviously the CEO, told investors more than half of all funded generative AI startups are Google Cloud customers, and also mentioned that 70% of generative AI unicorns were using Google Cloud.
Yeah. I think we've mentioned a figure like that in the last episode as well, but this breaks it down a little bit further. 70%. Wow, everyone's using Google Cloud. They love it.
Yep.
And then it goes on to say Google Cloud's revenue grew 22% from a year earlier, almost double the rate of growth for the company as a whole.
Yeah, that's fairly telling, isn't it?
Just to take another quote from that article, he added that generative AI is allowing companies to create agents to carry out tasks as answering questions or automating workflows. Now, we know that.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to replace jobs, right? And it's going to increase your profit margin as a result.
Yeah.
Now, you found this next one, Ian. This is a bit weird. Fakespot chat. Mozilla's first LLM lets online shoppers research products via an AI chatbot.
Yeah, so
chatbots, yeah.
So Fakespot is a company that uses AI in order to identify fake or deceptive or deceptive product reviews. And so Mozilla acquired Fakespot, and now Mozilla is launching its first LLM, large language model, with the arrival of Fakespot Chat, an AI agent that will help consumers as they shop online by answering questions about the product or even suggesting questions that could be useful in your product research. So this is a really cool use of AI, I think, is that just finding people who are perhaps trying to deceptively downplay a particular product or trying to boost a particular product.
Right, so this is when you go to Amazon and you get all the fake reviews on Amazon. Yeah. This can identify that for you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. What they call that? Review bombing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it happens, funny, we're on the subject, it happens in gaming. So if particularly with some of these large online multiplayer games, if the community doesn't like what the game developer is doing to the game, they'll often review bomb the game. So they'll go on to like Steam or one of the other platforms and just give it negative reviews.
Right. And
apparently it makes a significant difference in the profits that they earn during the period while it's being review bombed.
Right, okay. That's...
And yeah. It had a big impact. Obviously, I play War Thunder, and Gaijin's a company that runs it, and it's happened on more than one occasion. And Gaijin have suddenly just gone, oh, we better do what the community wants, or it's going to hit us in the hip pocket. So this is great for that, right?
Yeah.
So identifying fake reviews.
Now, the article doesn't give us any idea of how big that LLM is. We know that I think Google's is like 560 billion, and ChatGPT was, the last time I checked, was at like 280 billion or 290 billion. But there's no information here on how big this AI is. They just say that it's that the model itself is using 5 different models under its hood, and it's been trained on billions of data points. That's it.
Right. And it'd be specifically trained for fake reviews.
Yeah, I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah. Billions of data points, yeah. And how's it implemented? Like, is it a sidebar in Firefox, or is it like a plugin you install and it comes up like next to the reviews or something?
To be honest, I haven't actually seen it in Firefox. I've been like opening up Firefox every day in the hope that maybe there might be a like, hey, there is a browser extension that you can add. So the feature is available via Fakespot Analyzer, or it can be used on an Amazon.com product from Fakespot's browser extension. So I haven't seen the analyzer.
Right. It probably they got a screenshot of there, and it comes up as a little chat window next to it. And if you're on that screen, you just ask it a question. How is the packaging? And it gives you a response.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, this is just the start, right? We're going to see innovative uses of this technology, things like that.
Yeah.
This is just the start. And then finally, for this week's AI Wars, we have Google's AI-powered search experience expands globally to 121 plus countries. Finally, it's out there. Everyone's got access to it now.
Yeah, well, everyone except us. We don't actually have access to it yet. But yeah, Search Generative Experience is the new AI-based conversation experience that Google's released. It's part of Google Search now. And this is Google's answer to Bing Chat, I think they said. Yeah, Bing Chat, which is the OpenAI-powered chatbot experience that runs on that other browser that we don't use or talk about.
Users can ask questions and receive responses that aren't just a list of links.
Yeah, that's right.
It's more sort of interactive, yeah. You get AI-powered summaries of paywalled articles. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can define terms that you may not be familiar with, complex terms in STEM and economics, etc. And obviously can help you with coding. We've seen that. We've seen how Bard's doing that. And it can generate images and write drafts.
Yeah. Yeah, so it recently opened up to US teens aged 13 to 17. And
right, that's interesting. They'd have to GIMP the model somehow, wouldn't they? It's because there could be things that you wouldn't want them exposed to.
Yeah. I would. My young fella's trying to get into Bard and ChatGPT, and I keep sort of thwarting it because I don't really want him using it just yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's available to a lot of countries. Australia doesn't feature on that list of countries just yet, sadly. But I'm looking forward to when it does.
Yeah, right. No, you're right. It doesn't.
Yeah, because they got American
It's
Samoa, Angola, Antigua, and Barbuda, and then it goes to Bahamas. I'm like,
yeah,
what happened to Australia? We got left behind.
Well, when you look at it, actually, they're not highly densely populated. They're not countries with big populations.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Brazil,
Pakistan, Thailand, Taiwan.
I'm just trying to understand the motivation behind picking these countries in particular. Like, you can understand if it was just countries like Fiji and Haiti, like smaller, just to test
Guam.
things, right? Guam, just to test things out. But no, they've got like Mexico.
Yeah, well, and
how many millions of people are in Mexico?
Yeah, and
hang on,
Chile,
New Zealand gets it.
Yeah,
New Zealand
Kiwis get it. We don't.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's got to be able to interpret the Kiwi talk. Well, you love the Kiwis. But yeah, but you look at other countries like Pakistan. I mean, that's not a small population.
No.
Same as Taiwan.
No, not at all.
Also not a small population. Sri Lanka.
Maybe not. They're not expected to be heavy users of it.
Possibly.
Could be what it is. That could be what it is.
Yeah.
Who knows what the motivation is? But we'll get it soon. And when we get it, it'll be great. Trust it. It'll be great.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, look, I think that just about wraps it up for the AI Wars.
Yeah.
And wraps it up for the show.
It does indeed.
Does indeed. We're getting close to the end of the year. We are planning to do a Christmas special. We're going to get the band back together, and we'll talk about some bit of a retro on what's happened during the year, and just recap on a couple of highlights, and then we'll probably talk about what we're going to do next year as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Don't forget to go to iTunes, write a review for the show, and when you see the post on LinkedIn as well, make sure you give us a hi there and tell us what your favourite point in the show was, and we can start a discussion there. Don't forget you can contact the show, gcplife@casna.com, and today's show was sponsored by Casna. At Casna, we make your Google Cloud solutions possible. What else you got for us? Anything else, Ian?
No, mate, I'm done. I've got to go and pick up the young fella from school.
Yeah, I've got to take the kids to swimming lessons, so I'm pretty much done for the day. But you have a good night, eh? I'll catch you later. Bye.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
got the alternator out, he had to take the engine mounts, undo the engine mounts, jack the engine up, and take the AC compressor off, take the front bumper off, then he could get the alternator out.
What? That's
got
ridiculous.
It all packed in there. So he got it out. He thought he had one on order. He went over and got it. He looked at it, and it's like different alternator. It's not one for a different model.
Oh.
So, but he's found another one, but he won't be able to come back till tomorrow morning at 10 to do it. So,
oh.
at least he's got it out. That's half the battle.